वासुदेवाय। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So here we start today with our new topic, Introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Clearing the Misconception, Part 1, about Krishna and Demigods. There is one God. The whole Bhagavad Gita, it speaks about that. In the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, Sripad Shankaracharya, he wrote Gita Mahatmya. And there he says, Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. There is only one God, and that is Devaki Putra, that is Krishna. And the Gita is a strong monotheistic theology. The many gods of the Hindu pantheon are sharply relegated to the status of subordinate servitors to the Supreme God. Like 10 million, 33 million demigods are there. But all they are servitors and subordinates to one person. And as per the Bhagavad Gita, that person is Krishna. Thus the conclusion is that real and final subject of Bhagavad Gita is Krishna himself. Because at the end, what Krishna says, that Sarva Dharmana Parityajya Mam Eka Sharanam Bhaja. That one should surrender to Krishna, no one else. And Krishna asserts his supremacy in relation to the well-known gods and demigods of Vedic and Hindu pantheon. So here we see that Krishna is even, he is the source of demigods. Was there any pad here? Writing pad. Okay, yeah. Look, I think I have forgotten a temple. Can you just check it out? This, not notepad, it's a pad, writing pad with some paper attached to it. Actually, in Bhagavad Gita, in several places, Krishna has mentioned that he is source of everything and everyone.
She said she's not coming. So I'm going to text her.
Ask her the location where she is. Because in front of you, I handed it over to her.
I've got to make these payments.
In the 10th chapter, text number 2, Lord says that he is the source of demigods. And he has clearly mentioned there that Aham Adihi Devanam Maharshinam Cha Sarvashaha. I am the source of all demigods, and not only even demigods, but all the Prajapatis, Maharshis, the great Rishis, he is the source of them. And thus, those who worship other gods are ultimately worshipping Krishna, the source and sustainer of those gods. Thou, they do so in the wrong way. Yapi anya devata bhakta yante mam avidhi purvakam. Lord says, whoever worship the other demigods, they also worship me only. Because, as he says that, Aham Adihi Devanam, I am the source of demigods. So ultimately they are worshipping whom? Krishna. But that is avidhi purvakam. But that's not the proper way of worshipping Krishna. That we have to understand.
Makes sense.
Definitely. Because if you go to source, like as there is an example given in Srimad Bhagavatam, it speaks about that yathot karora mula nishechanena prupyanti skanda bhujopashaka prano praharam yatendriyana It's said that when you water the root, then automatically that water goes to branches, twigs, leaves, fruits, flowers, everywhere. Rather than doing that, if someone wants to put a separately, now I will put a water to flower and I will do it for the leaves, now I will do it to twigs and branches. That's avidi gurukam. That's not the process of watering the plant. You should just put it in the source. So same way, if someone touches a tree, he touches a leaf. He can say that I have touched the tree. Same way, in one sense, if you worship demigods, that's also worship of the Lord, but that is indirect way. So one has to understand that difference. Although gods may accept offering from their worshippers, the demigods themselves are acting as a mere agent of the Supreme God, who is the ultimate enjoyer of all sacrifice. In the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is explained, ultimately, he is that person who is the controller and as well as enjoyer of all sacrifice. Krishna says, Aham hi sarva yajnana bhokta cha prabhur eva cha. He is the only one person who is the supreme enjoyer and supreme controller. So in that sense, whatever the demigods, they give it to you. If you worship some particular demigod and he gives you some benediction, some boon, ultimately from whom they get it? Krishna. And that's why they are agent of Krishna. They are just giving you, like a whole post office never comes to you at your place to deliver your mail. Whom they send? Their agent, postman. He comes and delivers your mail at your doorstep. So same way, demigods are the agent who bestow or carry the mercy of their lordship and give it to you as per your qualification. And the ignorant worshipper of the demigods, who does not clearly recognize the supremacy of Godhead, falls to a lower status of life. Because they blaspheme their lordship. They think he is the only. We don't know him. We don't bother about him. So like if you are paying taxes to income tax department and you think that is the department actually. But who is controlling that? The president. And you say, I don't care about president. Whom I am paying, I'm concerned with them. But that's not the proper logic of accepting the things as it is. So same way, rather than worshipping demigods, one should worship directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because in the 9th chapter, 21st verse, it is explained that Tetam Bhuktva Swargalokam Vishalam Kshine Punya Martyalokam Vishanam. The demigods cannot award you ultimate liberation because they themselves are not permanent there. Even one of us can become a demigod if we develop that qualities or if we develop that credits. Like it is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam that if someone performs 100 horse sacrifices, which is known as a Ashwamedh Yajna, if someone performs that one, then what happens? He becomes eligible to become Indra. Who is Indra? King of demigods. So even you can become that demigod, but you cannot become a god. That's the real difference. And that's why God is worshipable than the demigods. Demigods are also jivas who are in the mode of goodness, little bit tinged with a passion. So any jiva, if he gets credits by performing a karmakandiya process, then they can also become a demigod. So whatever they give, It's not a permanent. And again, it is said that whoever goes there, Tetam Bhuktva Swargalokam Vishalam, Kshine Punyam Arkalokam Visham. As you have a credit card, but you have certain limits. You can't go beyond that. Some may have 1,000, some may have 10,000, some may have 2 lakh or 200,000. But everyone has his limits, and when you go beyond the limit, your card is invalid. So same way, in that if someone goes to heavenly planets where demigod resides, when he loses his credits, when they are like finished, then Martilokam Vishanti, then they throw him down to these earthly planets. So even demigod's post is not permanent. Shine Punne Martilokam Vishanti. Once your credits are finished, you are thrown away from that. You have to fall down again. And that's why the demigods cannot avoid the ultimate liberations, since those who attain to their worlds again fall down to the mortal earthly realm when their pious merit is exhausted. Then in text number 9.20, it is explains that Trivida Vidyam Mam Somapaha Puta Papa. If someone goes there and enjoys the elixir, which is they called as a nectar, but that does not have a permanent effect. Because demigods, they live for like a one manvantara. One manvantara is equal to 71 into 4,32,000 years. That many years demigods can live. And the whole day of Brahma, there are 14 such manvantaras. So 14 times different jivas, they became Indra, Chandra, Surya, and other demigods. So their posts are like a revolving door. One comes, other goes, like that. So whatever they give, that is also then comes and goes, impermanent. It is not only with this Svargaloka. All the planetary systems, higher planets as well as lower planets. So the difference between the Supreme Personality of a Godhead and demigods is, whenever Lord gives, it has a permanent effect. It's everlasting. And whenever you get it from demigods, it is for the short term. And one day, you have to again endeavor to get it again. But once Lord gives, then that remains permanent. It is the only Supreme Lord Krishna that one finds an eternal abode, going to which one never returns to take birth in this material world. A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. Mamu Petyatu Konteya Punarjanmana Vidya. Lord says there's all 14 planetary systems, 7 above, 7 down. All they have samsmriti. Samsmriti means taking birth again and dying. Punarabhijananam, punarabhimaranam. Punaravartino. There is a punaravarti. Again, rebirth is there. But Mamu Petyatu Konteya Punarjanmana Vidya. Lord says that whoever comes and takes shelter of me, he is liberated. He never comes back to this material world. Avyakta akshara iti ukta tam ahu paramam gatim. There are two natures that what Lord explains. One is avyakta and akshara. And one is kshara and vyakta. That is material nature. Material nature you can see, but ultimately it's going to get destroyed. And there is a akshara and avyakta. Avyakta means you can't visualize that through your material senses. Like right now I'm sitting here, I can't see sun. Why? Because it is not there. So thing which is beyond my capacities, like I'm sitting here and I can't read what is there written on the wall, because eyesight has certain limits. So with the limited senses, you can't perceive even the material thing, and what to speak about spiritual thing. Next example, like a living entity, soul. We can see this whole gross body, which is made of 8 elements. Because of their combination, it is visible. But the subtle body, can we see our mind? It is ours, so we should see, but we can't see that. That does not mean that we don't have a mind because I can't see it. We never say that I don't have an intelligence. Do we? No. We say that it's my intelligence. If it is yours, then why you can't see that? Because it is subtle. You can't see mind, you can't see your own intelligence. Then how you can see your soul? Whose size is like a Balagra Shatabhagasya. 10,000 times of the size of tip of hair. Then what to speak of the whole spiritual world, which is made up of all these chitkanas, with such a small atom. The Lord says that Dva imau purusha loke kshara akshara evacha. There are two kinds of a nature. One is kshara and another is akshara. So whoever attains that akshara, akshara means which never get destroyed, then that person never comes back. Napnuvanti mahatmanam. Then he never comes back. Once he has, as it is explained, that Naham Prakash Sarvasya Yogamaya Samadhata Mudayam Navijanati. Lord is never exhibited to each and everyone. Or Natad Bhasyate Surya na Shashanko na Pavaka Yad Gatva Nivartante Tadhama Paramam. Lord says that it never needs anything to illuminate that. It is a self-illuminating. In this world, we need moon and sun to illuminate so that we can get the lights. But Lord's place, we can see in this slide, that everything is like a glittering, self-radiant. So there is no need of such a material things there. And that Lord says that it is mine, eternal abode of truth. Abrahma Bhuvanalota, as I have explained, everything is going to get destroyed. But Mamo Pette to Kondeya, Punarjanmana Vidyate. No need to then come back. So here is the difference between demigods and the God. Demigods, they are into this 14 planetary system only. And 14 planetary system is going to get destroyed. So it is impermanent. And Lord's abode is permanent. So here is the real difference.
In India, what percentage, I know that they worship the different demigods and there's just a bunch. What percentage of the people in India acknowledge this? Is it
very few?
Really?
Because it depends upon the development of your consciousness.
Yeah.
As much as they can grasp, they can. Beyond that, they can't do anything. They say nothing beyond that. Like that Dr. Frog's philosophy. You remember that example? Once what happened,
Yeah.
one frog from the ocean, it came to the well. And well, there was a old frog who was staying there like a whole lifetime. He never went out of that well. And for him, the idea of stock of water is his well. And for him, nothing is bigger than that. So when the frog from the ocean, he comes and jumps into the well. Then he's asked him, from where you have come? He said, I came from the ocean. He said, what's that ocean? He said, it's the biggest stock of water. He said, how big? This big, this big, this big. Then he started jumping from one end of the well to another end of the well. But his limitation up to that, beyond that, he was not able to conceive anything. So same way, the people who are stuck with some particular worship of the demigod, To make them understand that there is someone who is higher than that, it's very difficult. By the mercy of Lord and his proper worship to that particular demigod, if he prays genuinely to that demigod, please, if you are pleased with me, then give me that which is very dear to you. Then that demigod will give him a Krishna Bhakti only. That's the difference between when Vaishnavas, they pray to the demigods, and one Karmakandi person, he prays to demigods. They pray to get something material, to extract something from them. And Lord's devotee, they pray to demigods so that they ask them, if you are pleased with me, please give me the Krishna Bhakti, or give me attachment to their Lordship. And this is what happened in our congregation in Mumbai. We have seen most of the people, before joining Krishna conscious movement, Krishna conscious, all they were like a worshipper of Lord Shiva. Specifically from which temple I have came from, there they have a temple of Mukteshwar. So people, they used to come to Mukteshwar, and that temple is like an ancient temple for last 300-400 years, very old temple. And before that also, but this is what we can go back, we can recall, because the structure says it was built, but it was still beyond that. So when people started coming there, and when we had our temple here, after some time, they started visiting our temple also. So previously their primary object was going to Mukteshwar first and then coming to ISKCON temple. But now what has happened? They come to ISKCON temple, they take darshan of their Lordship, and from backside when they do parikrama, from parikrama that Mukteshwar temple is visible. From there only they offer pranams to Mukteshwar. Because Mukteshwar has given them ultimately what is higher progress. So when they go in the parikrama, they offer their gratefulness to Mukteshwara. Thanks. Because of you, today I am here. So if that demigod is really pleased with you, definitely he gives you a Krishna attachment to Lord Krishna's lotus feet.
Just to add to that, so from that I came same as Prabhu was saying, everybody, the main problem is they ask for transient things. They so occupy their mind towards it. They can't even think beyond, like Prabhu was saying. Every day, every small things they'll ask, we want that, we get all that.
Prosperity or
Dhanam dehi, sundarim dehi, kavitam dehi. Give me money, give me knowledge, give me beautiful women or men, give me followers. Like there's a endless list they go for. But when they really please that person, like I tell you one example, in Vrindavan, there are 5,000 temples of Lord Krishna. Old, ancient temples. And now, whatever new has come, that is more. So around 6,000 temples are there in Vrindavan. And it's a very small town. Hardly like all around, if you go by like a 3 kilometer by 3 kilometers. Or maybe more than that, not 3 kilometers, because the whole periphery, consider as a 5 or 6 kilometer by 6 kilometers. Because if you walk around, it's like 11 to 12 kilometers, the whole circumference. In that 6 kilometer by 6 kilometers, they are having 6,000 temples. Can you imagine? It's like after each 1 meter, there is one temple.
like what size? Are they just like
Yeah,
houses or like this?
like houses, pure like a small houses, pure like a small rooms, pure like really small. But there are.
Do they have people to go to them?
Yeah, they go have a darshan. One day, one person, there is one temple of Sri Radha Vallabh. It's a very ancient temple, actually. Beautiful deities are there. There was one Brahmana who used to stay nearby Mathura, and he was a great worshipper of Lord Shiva. And he is, with all dedication of his heart, he used to worship Lord Shiva. So one day, Lord Shiva, pleased with his service, he appeared in front of him. And he said, okay, I'm really pleased with you. And Lord Shiva is known as a Ashutosh, who immediately get pleased. So he started, then he said, my Lord, give me that which is really dear to you, if you really want to give me something. Then Shinji said, you are really intelligent. What you have asked, I really want to give you now. Come, I will show you. And then Lord Shiva asked him to go to one particular well. Underneath the ground, that well was there, and underneath the well, there was one cave inside. He said, go inside, and there is one beautiful deity. That's really dear to me. He saw there's a beautiful deity of Lord Krishna. And he gave it to him. Okay, you now worship him. And that Brahmana, who was the worshipper of Lord Shiva, became the devotee of Lord Krishna. So if you genuinely and honestly, sincerely pray to demigods also, they can take you to Krishna's service. Because they say, other than saying all glories to you, you should glorify my boss. Because ultimately he is giving me that. I am connected with him, that's why you can ask something from me. If that connection is not there, then there is no difference between you and me. We will be same. I am also begging and you are also begging. You are begging to me, I am begging to him. And when he gives, I can give. Otherwise, I don't have that potential. Because it is said, even the host of gods are overwhelmed and astonished and enter within the time destructive power. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that Kalosmi Lokakshaya Krita Pravritta. He is so powerful, one of his potency, which is known as a Kala, time. Time is the greatest destroyer. That's why in Sanskrit they say that Kalaya Tasmai Namaha. I offer obeisance to that time because he is so powerful. Even the host of gods are overwhelmed and astonished and enter within the time's destructive power. Simple. 4.32 lakhs to 1.32. Yeah. 432,000 years is one Manvantara. And like that, 71. That's the Brahma's day. And within that, 14 times demigods, they comes and go. Who destroys them? Time factor. One of the potencies of the Lord. That we have to understand. That's the difference between demigods and their lordship. Krishna is the absolutely superior to the demigods in cognitive powers. Because he knows everything. But other demigods, they have their own limitations. In all respect, Krishna is the origin of gods, and hence they cannot understand Krishna's origin. As Lord Krishna says that Name vidu suragana prabham namaharshayam aham adihi devanam maharshinam sarvasha. All these demigods, they can't know me because I am their source. I am there before they come to existence. And that's what demigod also. He said, Name vidu suragana. These demigods, they can't understand. Because Krishna, indeed, is beginningless. Vishwara Paramaha Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karana. Not only the gods, but the entire universe is bewildered by the modes of nature and thus does not recognize or understand Krishna. Since Krishna is beyond the modes. Tribhir Gunamayir Bhaver Evhir Sarvam Idam Jagat Mohitam Navijanati Lokomam Ajabhyam. Krishna says in the 7th chapter, 13th verse, that this whole material world is a combination of, as it has shown in this picture, these three potencies of the Lord. They are controlling. It's like a puppet show. We are the puppets in the hands of modes of material nature. And this whole material creation is like that. And whoever has got bewildered there, they can't understand Krishna through their intellect. That's why Lord says further that Yajante Satvika Devan Yaksharakshasan Rajasan. And that's why the bewildered living entities, what they do? Who are bewildered with the mode of goodness, they worship the demigods. Who has got bewildered with the mode of passion, they worship yakshas and rakshasas. And those who are got totally bewildered with ignorance, whom they worship? Bhutas, means hobgoblins and ghosts. Then they worship. Then further it is said, the omniscience of Krishna is superlatively casual since Krishna is the source of everyone's memory, knowledge and forgetfulness. In the
Causal.
causal. Krishna is superlative, causal, not casual.
Causal.
Causal.
He's the Karana. Right?
Causal ocean that we call it. Causal, since Krishna is the source of everyone's memory. Lord says in the 15th chapter and 15th verse that Sarvasacham Radhi Samnuvishto Matta Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha Vedeshu Sarve Rahameva Vedyo Vedanta Krita Veda Videvasya. So he knows everything because he's there in everyone's heart. But no one else can know that because we are limited with our own bodies. And Krishna knows the past, present, future of all beings, but no one in the material world knows him in truth. It said that in the Amavasya, full moon day and no moon day. That's what. On the no moon day, even a black ant, if she is crawling on the black stone, that is also visible to whom? Krishna. But we can't visible. It's not visible for us. Because he knows everything. Vedaham sarvasam, Vedaham samatitani, Vartamana charjana, Vishyani cha bhutani, Mam cha vedana pashyam. He says, I know the present, past, and future. Everything known to me. That's the glory of the Lordship. And that's the difference between demigods and God. The living beings are so much dependent on Krishna that even their faith in their worshipable demigods must be supplied by Krishna. In the 7th chapter, 21st verse of Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, Yo-yo yayam tanu bhaktyam Shraddhaya arjutam ichchati Tat achala shraddha. What he does, whatever faith you have to worship particular demigod, that faith is instilled and given by the Lord himself. So all living entities, they are dependent on Krishna. The whom they are worshipping and who is worshipping, both are depending on Krishna. The result awarded by those gods are actually given by the Krishna alone, of whom the demigods are but agent. So whatever they can give, as we have discussed, like a post office gives to the post person, and that postman he gives and delivers to you. So ultimately from whom it comes from post office. The result of worshipping Krishna is clearly distinguished from the temporary result delivered from worshipping all other powerful beings. And that we have discussed. because all they are manifested in this material world, and as this material world is destroyed, their bones destroyed with them. Men of a small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the demigods, but my devotees come to me. The people with a small or a less intelligence, they worship demigods. Alpachetasaha, who has a very little bit intelligence, they worship the demigods. But whoever worship their lordship, that person goes to their lordship. Further, in the 9th chapter, Lord says, those sworn to the gods, go to the gods. Yanti devrata devan, bhutani yanti bhuteja, pitroyanti pitrovatan. So whoever worship whomever, they goes to that particular place. If they worship the demigods, they will go to the Swargaloka. If they worship Pitaras or forefathers, they will go to their place. Bhutaniyanti bhuteja. And whoever worships these ghosts and hobgoblins, they will go to the ghosts and hobgoblins. But Madhyajno Pimam. But whoever worship Lord Krishna, they will go to Lord Krishna. In view of the fundamental distinction between Krishna and demigods and their respective powers to reward their worshippers, only those whose intelligence is stolen by lust worship the gods and neglects the worship of the Supreme Godhead. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, text 20, it said.
So do they know, like say they worship the forefathers, so they go to the forefathers. Do they, has the veil been lifted though? Do they know, hey, we missed it?
As I said you, they're like that Dr. Frog. They don't know beyond that worship. For them, the highest thing is that only. So they get stuck there actually. And if they really please that particular personality, then it's possible that to know them, that we are really lacking something. Now we'll see the conclusion is that there is nothing at all beyond Krishna. Matta parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. There is nothing beyond him. He is the great Lord of all the worlds. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, as stated in the 5th chapter, 29th verse of the book. That Lord is the Lord of all the worlds. Arjuna glorifies Krishna as the Supreme Brahman. Param Brahmam Param Dhama Pratyaksham Paramam Bhavan. Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum. These are the words spoken by Arjuna for their Lordship Krishna. And he said, not only me, but Asito Devalo Vyasaha. These are the words of Asit, Devala and Vyasa, Purvetara Kritaha, who came before me. They also glorified you in the same manner. Because you are the Supreme Person. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Aham Adihi Devana. And Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Ajam Vibhum. He is the Supreme Person. And Arjuna further affirms that nobody equal to or greater than him. Asama Urdhva. Asama Urdhva means not. Sama, equal, or Urdhva means beyond him and higher than him. So nobody is there. The Lord ends his teaching in the Gita by urging Arjuna to abandon all other duties and take shelter of Krishna alone. 18th chapter, 66th verse. Very famous verse. Sarva dharmana parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. He says, don't think much. Just surrender unto me. And things will be taken care of. Now we will see. The Supreme Personality of a Godhead, Lord Krishna. Who is he? No one equal to or above him. I'm just going brief now. That whatever we have discussed. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.7, that Matta Paratram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya. No one is equal to or above me. Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, as explained in the 10th chapter, 8th verse. I'm the source of everything. And he is Bhagavan. Bhagavan means the person who possesses all the opulences. So he says, in the Srimad Bhagavatam it is explained that Ete Chamsha Kalapamsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. All the different incarnations, before the shloka, near about 24 different expansions and incarnations of their Lordship, as explained in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's the 3rd chapter. And at the end, Shukadeva Goswami says, Ete Chansha Kalapamsam. These are the part and parcels of the Lord, and they are his incarnation. And he is the person who incarnates. And Lord is a supreme proprietor, controller, enjoyer, and same time he is well-wisher. That's very difficult to be. Someone can be a proprietor, but not necessarily that he can control that thing. Someone may be the controller, but not necessarily that person can be a proprietor. Like someone possesses some property, and who manages? Some real estate agent. So may not be controlled by him, controlled by the manager. But manager is not the proprietor. And both they can't enjoy because that is meant for someone else, like a motel. Someone is the proprietor, someone else is managing, and someone else is enjoying. So same person can't do that 3 things. At same time, he has to be well-wisher also. Lord has created this world, so he is the creator as well as proprietor. He has created and he is controlling also that. And he is enjoying also that. And on top of that, he is well-wisher of all of us. Stop joking. At the same time, you have to provide everyone's demand and make them satisfied. Sometimes it's tough to fulfill our own demand and we get stressed out. That's what happens. When you hunger a lot, you work so hard and still you are not satisfied with your own performance. Forget about the others. So this world is so crazy. So few people, they consider Krishna as some Jyoti, some Prakash, some light, something which is just like an energy. No. That's something which is light, which is known as a Brahma Jyoti. Lord says that Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I am the source of that effulgence. And because these foolish fellows, avajanandi mamudham manushim tanuvashratam. When I take this human like a form and come here and perform pastimes, they don't realize me. They don't know me. Because Krishna is not like a demigod, but he is the source of demigods. Even demigods, they don't know him. That's what Krishna says. Name vidu suraganaha. It's tough for these guys to know Lord Krishna, then what to speak of living entities like us who are not that powered. who are confused and fused. And all the avatars, incarnations, maybe one of the ones we will discuss about the incarnations of the Lord, avatar. There are different avatars like Vamana, Varaha, Narasimha, Rama, Balarama, Buddha. Today's happened to be a Lord Buddha's appearance day. Today's Buddha Purnima. And sometimes what happens, people they think that Krishna is the incarnation of Vishnu. Vishnu is higher than Krishna. But in Satvata Tantra and Vishnu Purana also it is explained that Vishnustu Trini Rupani and their source is Krishna. There are three Vishnus that we'll discuss in that. That topic is elaborate actually. So we'll discuss afterward. Maybe, should we do it next Wednesday? Huh? That will be good.
Sounds good.
Well, next Wednesday we will discuss about it. And Krishna is not a mortal actually, and he's not an immoral also. People they depict him as an immoral person. He goes along with others' wives. He steals other wives' clothes. He steals butter from there.
Yeah.
Huh? He does all the immoral activities. He killed. He caused death of so many people. We'll elaborately explain about this on the next Wednesday. Now, in a brief, we will see the comparative table. Demigods, there are many. God, one. Demigods are like a part and parcel of the Krishna, and he is a supreme whole. All the demigods, they always worship the supreme as the obedient servants. And God is supremely worshipped. Demigods are created by the supreme. And Lord himself is the supreme creator. No one has created him. Demigods, they exist within the material nature, Brahma Bhuvana Loka, within these 14 planetary systems. And their lordship, God, is beyond the creation. Parastasmastu bhavanyo vyakto vyakta sanatana. He lives there, which is eternal and which is beyond this material conception. Then demigods, delegated with the various grace or power to manage the affairs of the universe. And Krishna is Sarvaloka Maheshwara, the ultimate controller of all the planets. Demigods subordinate to the will of the Supreme. Maya hi yasya jagadanda yatani sute traigunya tat vishaya vedamana. Ichhanu rupam api yasya cheshtatesa. Ichhanu rupam means according to the desire of the Lord. They perform. So they are subordinate to the will of Lord. And Supreme Lord, he is a Swarat, Abhigya Swarat. Nobody knows him and he is all powerful. So he can do anything and everything. No one can question. Demigods have a material bodies, hence subject to birth, old age, disease and death. And Lord, completely spiritual body, no birth, no old age, forget about the disease and death. These things never touches him. Demigods come under the influence of three material modes to different extents. As you go higher, the degree of purity increases in heavenly planets. As you go down, degree of contamination increases. So there is always competition in three different modes of material nature to take over that person. Sometimes goodness increases, sometimes passion increases, sometimes ignorance increases. So somehow or other, they overlap each other. But Lord is completely beyond the influence of the three modes of nature. He is a Gunathika. He is beyond the influence of this. Demigods, all they are temporary posts. And Lord is eternally supreme and He is God. Now worshippers of, who worship whom? Like a less intelligent people. Antavantam phalamit tesham tad bhavati alpamedhasam. The people with the less intelligence, they worship demigods. And akamo sarva kamaha moksha kama udaradi. The most and broad intelligent people, they worship the Supreme Lord. After worshipping these demigods, whatever benefits their worshippers they get, they are material and temporary. Antavantu phalam tesha. Whatever result they give, they are like a temporary and going to get over. But as explained in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 20th verse, that nehavi kramanashoski pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam api asya dharmasya trayata mahattvaya. Even if you render a little bit also, that will not go west. Like this lifetime, I may do my 20% of devotion. So next lifetime, it will start from 21, not from a zero only. That's the glory of rendering devotional service. If you worship some demigods, this lifetime is finished. Again, you have to start from zero, from a scratch. But in case of Lord's worship, if you do 50%, it will start next life with a 51%. They cannot award benedictions without the sanction of the Lord. Sataya. Lord, if He gives them potency, then only they become potent to deliver something. Like a post office, if some mail comes there, then only it can give it to the postman and he can deliver it. If there is nothing, then how they can do that? So same way, they can't award benediction without the sanction of the Lord. And Lord, He is the ultimate benedictor. He gives the benediction. Varadaha. Varada means who gives with his hands. That's the Lord. The destination of the worshippers. The worshippers of demigods, they go to the abode of demigods, which is fallible. Yanti devavratan devan, pitroni yanti pitrovratan, bhutani yanti bhuteja, madhyajano opimam. Whoever worship to the demigods, they will go to their planets, which is fallible. An abode of the Supreme Lord is infallible. Avyakta aksharoyam. It is avyakta and akshara. It never will get destroyed. So whoever worshippers worship Lord, they go to Lord's planet. And the worship of demigods is avidhipurvakam. That is, yapi anya devata bhakta bhajate mam ananyam. Bhajate mam avidhipurvakam. The devotees or the worshippers of the demigods, ultimately they worship Lord only, but avidhipurvakam. That's not a correct way of worship. And proper way is that is explained in the last Lord's final instruction to Arjuna. That is sarvadharmana parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayashyami mahashacha. Demigods cannot award supreme liberation because they are not liberated themselves. And only He can award supreme liberation. Mukti pradata sarvesham Vishnurena samshayaha. Demigods gives one what he wants. They are forced to do that. Like if you go to mall and pay, they have to give you. But Lord, not necessary that He will give you what you ask. He has reservations. Like some small boy, like 5 or 10 years, he takes $10 from father and goes to some cigarette shop and asks for the cigarette, that person is bound to give him because that boy is paying him. So he will not question why you are taking this. He's concerned with the money, so he will give it. But the same boy, he goes to his father again and gives him that $10 and asks him, okay, give me one cigarette. What his father will give? At least in India, he will give 10 slaps on his face if he asks that cigarette. Huh? Here you can't do that, otherwise you will be in. Huh? So same way, Lord is not bound to give you what you want, because whatever you ask for, it may be the cause of bondage for you. And demigods, their worship is always material. And the devotion service to the Supreme Lord is complete spiritual. So how he is supreme, that we'll discuss next session, where we will try to understand that what is incarnation, why he incarnates to this material world, and what is the difference between his incarnations. That we will discuss next week. So any question or comment?
I was thinking, like all this we should not ask in general to the Lord. That's what I was thinking.
If you understand, then you will not ask. But if you don't understand his position, definitely you will ask. And ultimately, as a child, he never cares what his father is, what post he held. Huh? He's cared about father's love and concern. So same way devotees, they are not bothered about how big is my Lord, because they are in love with Lord. Like if you go to Vaikuntha, everyone will be like standing like this and offering prayers to the Lord. But if you go to Golok Vrindavan, you will see that they are jumping on his body. Huh? Someone is coming and holding his cheeks. Someone is pulling his ears. Huh? Because their love is totally different. For them, he is one amongst them. They don't have that difference. But in Vaikuntha, in the form of Lord Vishnu, no one can dare to go and put a hand around his neck, because he is sleeping on the Ananta Shesha with a snake with 1,000 hoods. By seeing that only you will faint. But with Krishna, he is so beautiful, so merciful. Look at him. Whose heart will not get attracted to him, will not get melted to see that beauty? That we will discuss next. Okay? Right. Thank you very much for tolerating.